I want to bring solidarity greetings from the Trades Council in Hastings and from the trade unions to the people at this demonstration, but more importantly to the people of Gaza and Palestine, because we need to tell the Palestinians that they are not alone. And one of the things that we could say in the last 2 or 3 weeks since the bombing started is that there's been a magnificent response in this country. 2 of the biggest demonstrations in British history have happened in the last few weeks in support of Palestine and Gaza. Yesterday, in towns and cities across the country, there were loads and loads of demonstrations, small ones like this, but thousands in bigger cities. 10,000 yesterday in Bristol. And on top of that, following the example of the Jewish anti-Zionist movement in America who occupied Grand Central Station in New York, yesterday the following stations were occupied by protesters: Charing Cross, Manchester Piccadilly, Birmingham New Street, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Nottingham, Leeds. We are witnessing the growth of a new mass movement against imperialism in the Middle East. On Friday in Bristol, hundreds, maybe thousands of school students walked out of school for a rally in central Bristol. Students are moving. And this reflects what's happening around the world. Massive demonstrations and protests happening everywhere in support of Palestine, and especially in the Middle East. Millions of people have been on the streets of Amman in Jordan, where over half the population are Palestinian, in Cairo in Egypt, across the whole of North Africa and the Middle East. And this is vitally important because the Palestinians cannot win on their own. Despite heroic bravery, despite the resistance of 75 years against an apartheid settler colonial state, they are up against Israel, a nuclear state, one of the most sophisticated and biggest armies in the world, with a top-ranking air force. F-16s bombing Gaza now, and they're backed, as we know, by the USA, by the UK to its shame, by the European Union, by every Western power, hammering the Palestinians in Gaza. Yesterday, President Biden called for a humanitarian pause in Gaza, not a ceasefire, a humanitarian pause. And let's be clear, he's still giving a green light to the Israelis, as the British are doing, to support the bombing of Gaza. This is a humanitarian pause. It's got nothing to do with the saving the lives of Palestinians. It's got everything to do with saving his friends, his allies, the dictators in the Arab world, who are now under pressure, massive pressure from their own people to do something, to stop being the patsies of the Americans in the Middle East. He's petrified for the safety of Sisi, for the King of Jordan, for the other rulers of the Arab world, because the dictatorships, if the movement grows as it is at the moment, they could be toppled, and then the whole pack of cards starts to fall apart in the Middle East. We could be witnessing a new Arab rising, a new Arab spring, and this is vitally important. These are dangerous but very significant times. Things are moving quickly, and what we do here is important. It's not irrelevant. It's very important, because our job is to crack the unity of the Western powers backing Israel. We have to show that there is a movement in support of the Palestinians. And okay, we say shame on President Biden, of course. We say shame on Rishi Sunak, of course.
Shame on you!
But we also have to say shame on Keir Starmer. They are backing Israeli war crimes. Starmer has the blood of Palestinians on his hands too. And this is an appeal from the Trades Council and the trade unions to the Labour Party, of which many of our unions back the Labour Party and sponsor the Labour Party. We're calling on MPs, we're calling on the councillors in Hastings to speak out, to break the consensus. At this time, at this moment, silence is compliance. It's time to take a stand. It's time to speak out. I want to say one final thing about Suella Braverman. She tried to ban us from flying the Palestinian flag. She's tried to ban us, and they're still talking about it in the media, ban us for chanting in support of Palestine, saying that we're anti-Semitic. She's called our protests hate marches, which is really rich, coming from a high priestess of hate against refugees. These are not hate marches. These are marches for peace, for equality, for justice. And I'm appealing now to everybody here and to tell all your friends that next Saturday there is going to be a monster demonstration in London, a massive demonstration in London. We're going to be marching on the US Embassy from Hyde Park Corner. I want everybody, we've all got to go to London next Saturday. Catch the 9:46 from Hastings, catch that train to Charing Cross, feel that train to Charing Cross, and when we get there, we will fly the flag. We will join in the chanting. Free, free!
Palestine!
Free, free!
Palestine!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
From the river to the sea!
Palestine will be free!
In our thousands, in our millions!
We are all Palestinians!
In our thousands, in our millions!